Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Daria and here we talk about mobile apps. And the topic of today is horror stories. And no, I'm not talking about Dracula or the likes. I'm talking about something much more scarier. Publishing to Google Play Store. The reason why I call publishing to Play Store a horror story is not only because it's a tedious and annoying process, but also because it can lead to actual scary consequences, and that is your Google Play Store account being terminated. I'm sure that if you have ever published an Android app, you have already heard the horror stories on Reddit, on Twitter, and other social media of accounts being terminated. And terminated means your endgame with the Play Store. When you're gone, the pieces of my heart are missing you. It means that you will not be able to create a new account for your name, also probably from your computer, from your IP address, and so on. And also means that all associated accounts are also subject to termination. So it's a very scary situation for an Android developer or in general a mobile app developer, especially if you work with clients. So whatever you do, try not to make your account terminated. Termination is the last step of your relationship with Google Play Store. But before termination, there are 3 more steps that you can encounter. First step is rejection. Rejection can be applied to an app update if you're updating an already existing application, or it can also be applied to obviously your first ever release. Rejection means that something is against the Google Play policy and it's not counted as a strike against your account, because all you need to do is just fix the reason the app was rejected, submit a compliant version, and hopefully it will now be approved. If you have an existing app already and this is an update to an existing app, then nothing will happen to the existing app. The rejection applies only to the update. But there's another status which is removed and which can apply also both to updates and also existing applications. If, for example, Google Play committee reviewers find something wrong with the existing version of your application already in the Play Store, and the app can be removed. So it means that the users can't find it until, again, you submit a version that has fix for anything that you did wrong. As far as I know, removal also is not considered a strike against your account just yet, but it can be followed, or a rejection can be followed by a scarier status, which is suspended. And suspension does count as a strike against your health of your account, so be very careful. Try not to get suspended, and we will see quite many reasons how to get suspended during this video. And what suspension means is that your app, whether it's your first version or existing version, gets removed completely from Google Play Store, and you can't submit a new version that will fix it. You have to submit a completely new application, which means you also need to change the package name, and basically everything associated with the old app is now inaccessible to you. And several suspensions in a row can lead to account termination. Now, another thing that can lead to suspension is being rejected several times in a row. And this is especially applicable to apps being published for the first time. So when you're trying to publish first version of your new application, if you get rejected several times in a row, this can lead to app suspension. And this has happened to me twice already. So yeah, I'm not sure if this applies to existing applications, because I have seen people getting rejection after rejection and not being suspended. But for first time apps, for first releases, this can definitely happen, and it does happen. So tip number 0, before we even go into rejection reasons, is something that you should never do, is sell your account, your Google Play Store account, to anyone asking. I mean, I've been approached in many social medias of people asking if I have a healthy Google account and if I'm willing to sell it for like some dollars for them to do whatever they want with it. This is a bad idea, because if they're doing that, it's highly likely that they want to publish something that should not be on Google Play Store and that will get you terminated, or your account terminated. And even though you have sold this account, it's still technically associated with you, so it can also lead to termination of your other accounts, and don't do that. And you know how everyone says don't spend too much time on your app polishing, publish an MVP, a minimum viable product first. Well, I would say go further, and specifically for Google Play Store, publish an MUV, a minimum unrejectable version. An MUV means that you should have as less risky features as possible for Google Play Store, so that it's harder for you to collect several rejections in a row. Because, for example, if you have subscriptions, permissions, and health category, and AI all in one app, all in first release, there's a high chance to get rejection for subscription, get rejection for AI, get rejection for something else, and all of this in a row, which will lead you to suspension, which happened to me. Now, let's dive into the reasons that can get you rejected on Google Play Store. And this list is not exhaustive by any means. Let's call it this part one, and things that I have specifically encountered myself. So maybe if we collect more in the comments or in general on the internet, I might make a part two. Let me know if you want that. Rejection reason number one, metadata. So metadata includes things like icon, screenshot, description of your application. And one thing that can get you rejected if there is something untrue in your screenshot or in your description, meaning that you show or describe features that don't actually exist in your application. I mean, this is obvious from the ethical side, but also from the legal side, it can get you rejected. So don't do that. But another reason that you can get rejected for metadata is if you use words that can't be objective, such as top or best. Like by version of whom your mother or what. So yeah, avoid using words like that, and also words that can be manipulative, such as like discount and free, especially if it's not free. So yeah, things like that. I think I got rejected once for saying best, and yeah, my description was generated by ChatGPT. So make sure you read what ChatGPT generated for your description for your application. Rejection reason number two, special app categories. So there are some app categories that require you to fill in extra declarations regarding app functionality and also legal rights, such as financial apps, health apps, dating, gambling, things like that. I'm pretty sure that if it's financial, then you have your own problems and you have this figured out with the legal team and so on, because there's so much more involved in this. But in my case, when we were publishing Trigger Journal, first of all, we wanted to try to publish it in health category, but health category requires a special declaration to be filled in. And that declaration is a bit tricky because specifically in our case, the problem was that in Trigger Journal, you can track anything you want. You can track sleep, you can track allergies, you can track food, you can track menstrual cycle, like anything that you want. But at the same time, you can track nothing at all, nothing related to health specifically. So in health declaration, there was a question like, what does your app track? And we either had to select all of the things that were available there or specify a custom comment. And this is exactly what we have written in the custom comment, that we don't require the user to enter any of this information, but they can if they want. And we got rejected. So my advice would be that if it's possible, specifically for health category, maybe try not submitting to health category at first. So especially if it's not like health, but more like wellness, fitness, lifestyle, because lifestyle is also a category that this can fit in potentially, again, depending on your use case. So yeah, if you can avoid submitting to special categories, do that at first, at least. Rejection reason number three, permissions. Be very careful with permissions that you request, because obviously the permissions that you request must be justified by your app functionality. And they must be really justified by your app functionality, because if they're not, you will get rejected. For example, in one of the latest in one of the latest Android versions, but probably a couple of versions before the latest one, the policy changed that to use exact alarm permission, which is often or has been often used for scheduling notifications at a specific time. So yeah, to use that permission, it must be a crucial feature of your application. For example, you are an alarm app, a calendar app, or things like that, where scheduling something with an exact time is crucial for your use case. So, and for just regular notifications, that is not justified, and you must use the other permission. I don't remember the title, probably will be somewhere here. And that is just one example with permissions. Obviously, make sure that every permission that you add to your Android manifest is justified, and also read documentation if it has any specific limitations, because a lot of them do. Rejection reason number four, broken functionality. Broken functionality can mean a lot of things. Apps that don't install, apps that install but don't load, apps that don't load but are not responsive, or any functionality broken in your app further on. So the thing is that if something can go wrong with your app, it's highly likely to go wrong with the reviewer. I had a scenario when somehow the reviewer launched the app without internet. So they managed to download it, and obviously to download it you need internet, but then they launched it for the very first time without internet. This was an edge case. An edge case that I haven't even thought about, because usually the first open of the app is straight after downloading, which means you likely have internet. And yeah, my app was broken in that scenario, and the reviewer found it, and my update got rejected. So yeah, make sure that you test all kind of edge cases, especially related to launching your app under all kinds of conditions, because there's a high chance that if there is an error, it will happen to the reviewer. So also do all of the error logging, obviously, as much as possible, and in general error handling. So no matter what you do, make sure that your app at least loads, and if it doesn't, it shows definitely to the user a reason why it can't load and how to solve this issue. Rejection reason number 5. The holy grail of all rejections is the paywall. And paywalls are notorious for being rejected by Google Play Store because of many reasons. You have to be very specific about your payment plans, about if it's a subscription, that it's a renewable one, how often it renews, that it's an automatic renewal, and things like that. So there's a lot of wording issues and specifics that have to be on your paywall screen, and also button names and things like that, and fonts, and also localization. You can't hide the X button, things like that. Anything that is potentially misleading or a gray pattern or a dark pattern or whatever they're called is a red flag and can be a reason for you to be rejected. Sometimes it also depends on the reviewer's mood, because the same paywall can be approved many times and then get randomly rejected. So yeah, paywalls are very notorious. Try following the best practices related to paywalls. Don't use any gray patterns, at least not on your first release. I mean, I generally don't advise using any dark patterns, but that's up to you. But yeah, if you don't want to get rejected, don't do that. And in general, try not adding any payment options on your first version. Like, if you must, hide the premium features in general from your app for your first version in Google Play Store. But yes, please don't show paywalls in first version. There's a very high chance to be rejected. Rejection reason number 6. The reviewer can't get access either into your application in general if you require a login, or to your premium features if some features are only behind at the paywall, because they can't use trials, they can't use free versions, sandbox versions, they can't do anything of that. So make sure that when you send your version to review, if you do have paywall, or if you do have login, first of all, there is a box where you can specify how to log in to your application, which for some reason they sometimes ignore, but try making it as easy as possible and not having like 10 steps. Login, again, if possible, depending on your use case, and create a testing account for your Google Play reviewer. And also, if that is a paywall feature, make sure there's some config or something like that for your reviewer to get access to this feature. Rejection reason number 7. So since we're speaking about accounts and logging in and an account system, if you have a way to create an account, you must also provide a way to delete an account from inside of your application. Not writing an email, not leading to web or things like that. It must be from your application, or you can get rejected for that. This has been a policy for a while now. I guess this is related to GDPR, but yeah, it's also true for App Store and both App Store and Play Store. So yeah, make sure if you have accounts, you also have a way to delete an account and request this deletion from within the app. Rejection reason number 8. Privacy policy terms and conditions. These are 2 documents that you must have for all your applications. They must be accessible from within your app, and also they must be valid links, obviously. So yeah, like for any new application, make sure privacy policy terms and conditions are both in place, and also that you have a way for users to access those documents. It's also true for App Store, and they're very strict about that. Rejection reason number 9. We are in 2025, right? So the most popular word, or the most popular 2 letters, are AI. Can I make it any more obvious? And obviously, if your app has AI content, which a lot of the apps, if not most of the apps, have nowadays, there must also be a way to report this content. Otherwise, you can get rejected by Google Play Store. So make sure you add some kind of report button wherever you have AI content, images, text, videos, things like that. So otherwise, you can get rejected for not having this button. So yeah, this is my experience. 9 reasons why I have been rejected. Also suspended. Thankfully, not terminated. Hopefully, never terminated. So after my latest app has been suspended, I haven't tried publishing it to Play Store in maybe a year now already. So we will try and do it again this year. So I might come up with part number 2 of my own rejections. Also, if you have been rejected or suspended or terminated by Play Store, leave your stories in the comments. We might do a crowdsourced next part and the part after that, because I'm pretty sure there are enough horror stories for a whole series of Google Play Store rejections, and also maybe a separate video for App Store rejections. And yeah, if you found this useful, if you want more of this content, make sure to support me, like, subscribe, ring the bell, and see you in the next video.